of fate.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll love this.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optics Podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in film, Devin, and today we're here to review and discuss the latest semi-biopic movie that is Dumb Money. And before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at Film Optics. That is optics with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptics@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. Devin, are you ready to take down Wall Street?
Diamond hands, baby. Diamond fists.
Diamond hands. Hold.
Hodl.
I remember seeing that somewhere as this whole thing was happening. But yeah, you've been good. This is our, second episode of the day that we're recording. But yeah, have you been playing? Speaking of Dumb Money, since this is talking about, GameStop, what have you been playing outside of Starfield? Or are you still diving into that world?
I'm all aboard the Starfield train.
Oh boy.
I really need to start the new Cyberpunk DLC, but two futuristic sci-fi RPGs at once is just too much to handle. I just gotta stick with Starfield for now.
Hey, count yourself lucky, man. In about 18 days, Spider-Man 2 is hitting PlayStation 5. So I will be diving into that. I do have Starfield as well. I've been playing a lot of Alan Wake. I beat the first Alan Wake game, finally. It actually didn't. It took me 2 weekends to beat. But I'm going through the DLC or the extra episodes. So I was like, man.
Have you played Control?
I've not played Control, but I know that it's a shared universe, with Control and Alan Wake. I know that they make references, but I'm trying to figure out, do I play Alan Wake 2 first and then go to Control? Because I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to beat Control and the DLC and then push on to Alan Wake 2. I don't know. I'm not sure. And do all of this by the time that Spider-Man 2 comes out for PlayStation 5. It's going to be a doozy, but
it's one of the best years of gaming we've had in a long time.
I think so. It's just, I guess it depends. I saw Paris Lily's tweet and I was like, well, I agree with him to a point, but he also, it's easy to say that when you have multiple consoles and whatnot, but yeah. It's a pretty good year for gaming for sure. I want to check out Baldur's Gate as well, but there's never enough time to do everything that you want. So you have to kind of pick and choose. Maybe one day I'll play Baldur's Gate when it's on sale for $35 or something. But as we have mentioned before, this is a review, not necessarily a spoiler-free review or a spoiler review, because Dumb Money is based off of true events. And it's like a David and Goliath type tale, but yeah, no real spoilers here. We're just kind of dive straight into this one. But with all that said, we'll be right back after this introduction to Dumb Money, the GameStop story.
Yo, what up, everybody? Roaring Kitty here. I'm gonna pick a stock and talk about why I think it's interesting, and that stock is GameStop.
I love this guy.
Retail traders have hooked into GameStop. I think they think it's a good investment. It looks like there's one guy driving all the buying.
Who is this schmuck?
Dumb money, man.
Happy to take it.
Wall Street is betting that this company is gonna fail. And if it fails, these hedge fund assholes make a shit ton of money. 70,000 people have watched this video.
Roaring Kitty, I love you!
If he's in, I'm in.
If he's in, I'm in.
GameStop, those shares not stopping.
The stock is only gonna go up. When they hit, I'm gonna buy you a mansion.
Let's drink to that.
My brother is a fucking nerd.
Wall Street must be seeing this, right?
Holy fucking shit.
Holy shit.
You should probably dial in.
Holy fucking shit. Do you have a minute?
Babe, how much did we make today?
5 million?
How much did we lose today?
$1 billion.
And yesterday?
4 million?
And yesterday?
$1 billion.
Yeah.
We're like really fucking rich.
And we are back with our Dumb Money review. This film is directed by Craig Gillespie, and writers include Lauren Shucker Blum, Rebecca Angelo, and Ben Mesrich, and stars Paul Dano, Pete Davidson, Vincent D'Onofrio, Seth Rogen, and Cheyenne Woodley. There's so many amazing characters, and Anthony Ramos is as well. It is a cluster. And oh my gosh, Falcon, Winter Soldier. What is his name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name. Winter Soldier, MCU. Sebastian Stan is also in this movie. And man, oh man, it's crazy. It is a crazy ride. Like I said before, we're going to just dive straight into this one because we've been wanting to review this one for a while. And I was finally able to go see it in theaters. I did a double movie day with the creator, and then I went to go see Dumb Money about an hour after. And man, it was a great day for like the movies. It was fantastic. Got to see some really awesome trailers in IMAX for the creator, and I got to see this awesome Dumb Money story that Devin saw, I think it was last week. And I don't think this movie's being talked enough a lot or as much as we would like. So we're going to be a part of that conversation, and hopefully our thoughts and opinions will get you to go see this movie to form your own opinion about it. And yeah, so we're going to dive straight on in. Devin, what are your initial thoughts or your thoughts about Dumb Money, the GameStop story?
Yeah, going into this one, I was very excited because this all happened. What year was it? Like 2020 when this all started going down. Same year's pandemic. Like we all lived through this, and it's just crazy to think about. Looking back at it, just all the events that unfolded and how crazy it all was, and we didn't even realize how crazy it all was while it was happening. And it's like a perfect cross section because obviously we've all been to GameStop. We all grew up on GameStop, and we all knew about part of the story. And then around that time is when a lot of people, myself included, first started investing into the stock market because of Robinhood and the ease of use that app had, and it didn't take any money away from you when you made investments, and that was kind of the selling point for it. And this movie shows that app had a lot of drama surrounding it and a lot of accusations, and definitely has its issues ongoing today. But as far as the movie goes, it's a very entertaining movie. It doesn't quite live up to like a Wolf of Wall Street or like The Big Short. It doesn't quite hit the highs that those movies do, but it's still a very solid movie as far as a biopic type of movie about something that happened so briefly, like so shortly ago. It feels like it really feels like they really brought this one and pulled everything together within like a year or two. Like I remember we first got announcements for this a year after it all happened. We were like, well, if they're already making a movie, like it's just a story like this is just so crazy that you kind of just have to make a movie about it, because especially if we watch it like 10 to 20 years from now, looking back on it, it's very much so a perfect time capsule for what we all went through in 2020. Like it's going to be so odd to look back at. It already is odd to look back at. It's only been a couple of years removed, and it's like everyone's wearing masks and no one can go anywhere. Everything's shut down. Like it's all just so crazy to think about. And I just love this story because I was kind of kicking myself throughout the movie because I didn't end up ever investing in GameStop, and I really wish I would have, because as this movie shows, it was very, very lucrative for a few select people to invest into GameStop. Because I remember seeing the memes. Like, I remember seeing the soaring kitty guy, like his face pop up everywhere, and the HODL memes, and just all of it. And the Wall Street Bets Reddit page, I remember seeing that pop up, but I was just like, it's GameStop. Why would anyone ever invest in GameStop? Because at that point, everyone did think it was going to close, and that's what the big investors thought as well. That's what Wall Street thought, so that's why they were shorting it. So it was just very cool to see it from all these different perspectives, just the story from these different characters, and this cast is just insane. You said Paul Dano, Pete Davidson, Vincent D'Onofrio. We got America Ferrera, Nick Offerman, Sebastian Stan. We throw in Clancy Brown in there. We got Dane DeHaan.
I know.
Just never ends. And they all play their characters. So especially Sebastian Stan, he stole the show for me as Vlad Tenev. I don't know if you've ever seen that guy in real life, but that is exactly how weird and off-putting that guy is. Like, he's the CEO of Robinhood, and he's just so sketchy. Every interview he's ever had, he's just like, you don't believe a word he says.
So he's like Mark Zuckerberg, like 2.0, or do you?
I mean, he's got more personality than Mark Zuckerberg, but he's just so sketchy.
Zuckerberg is a freaking computer, man. But
he's the creator.
He literally, yes, he is the creator. But being a dedicated gamer for myself and for Devin in general, this movie, this film filled me with pride that we've, essentially have been supporters to GameStop throughout the years. I know that, GameStop hasn't always been the best place to like trading games or whatnot, but at the same time, there's always something that you were able to find there, or there was always some kind of deal going on. Like when we were kids, probably, and I remember this, Devin probably does too. Me and Devin went to GameStop to pre-order Modern Warfare 2 for the original Modern Warfare 2 for Xbox 360.
There's so many GameStop stories. That's just a place you went to when you had nothing else to do. You're just like, you want to go to Game? We still do it today. Like, you just going down to GameStop.
Yeah, we did it when I came home about a month ago. Like, it was just crazy. But like, yeah, I remember us going to GameStop, pre-ordering Modern Warfare 2. And we went to go pick up our copies of Modern Warfare 2. We already pre-ordered it. And I'm a few years older than Devin, so I was already 18, or I think it was 17 is what they changed it to buy rated R games. So we went to go pick up our copies. I picked mine up first, and the GameStop cashier would not let Devin pick up his copy of Modern Warfare 2 because he was not 17, and it made no sense that
you're
GameStop
allowed to pre-order it, but you're not allowed to pick it up.
Yeah, Devin was able to pre-order a rated R game, but he couldn't pick it up, so he had to call his mom and come up to GameStop so that she can buy it for him. But yeah, that's just, it's a short story, but like we have so many of those stories for GameStop. So this movie really just hit home for me at least. I'm sure it's a different Devin, but yeah, we've been a supporter of GameStop for years, and it's heartwarming. It is like a semi-biographical picture that honestly, I think this is like easily one of my favorites of the year because it's just so funny the way that it exposes the corruption of Wall Street. It's truly eye-opening. We all know that Wall Street is like messed up anyway, but like what happens in this film, especially when it came to Robinhood, when GameStop, when all bets were against GameStop and Robinhood was closing out, they were not allowing people to.
I remember that day. Like, that was so messed up. Like, and everyone knew it as soon as it happened. Everyone was like, you can't do that. Like, that's so wrong.
It was terrible. And, with this movie, it's just, I love how we're finally kind of in that age where, me and Devin, we're both 90s kids, millennials. We're starting to see movies that reflected things that we actually remember happening. With this movie kind of sort of reminds me of Air in a way. Like, we were alive or, you know, just being born when all that was happening, but we don't really remember it. But this is the movie that we're going to remember like forever because it only happened a few years ago. I think it's a great concept because they have all the information, they have the blueprint, and it's like, this is a very interesting story to tell. So let's tell it. And everyone involved, when it came to the cast, everyone killed it. Everybody killed it in this movie. And Paul Dano playing Keith Gill, he was perfect. He was so perfect. Just this
Roaring
guy.
Kitty, baby.
I know, like Roaring Kitty. Of course, when it comes to Pete Davidson, he's funny in any role, but I think he was a little bit funnier here than he was in Transformers. Because I think when he was watching one of the live streams and he saw, I think it was Nick Offerman's character. He plays Ken Griffin. He was like, "Oh, he looks like a Disney villain." I was like, "What?" His offhanded comments when it comes to Pete Davidson was it's hilarious, but it really just shows how this movie was able to show different aspects of the same event that was happening. You had the kids who were in college, you know, they're doing their thing. You had America Ferrera playing Jenny. She was a nurse, you know, she had 2 kids. Her kids needed braces. And you see it from the corporate world and just from the everyday working American.
It really is crazy. Like this was a once in a lifetime event that we were all witness to. Like we all lived through it, and it's something that it probably will never happen again just because Wall Street always wins. Like it kind of shows at the end, even though there's a glimpse of hope with the ending here that it shows. It has that little blurb at the end where it's like we took down the big man, but I just feel like they're always going to bail each other out. So,
oh yeah, especially when that happened in the movie. It's like you have, and Anthony Ramos playing Marcus Garcia. You know, he was a GameStop employer, like just, you know, kind of living that and within that world. And I don't think Devin's never worked at GameStop, but I have. And
oh yeah,
it sucks when if you're not a manager at GameStop, it's terrible. And I know that like I just went on this huge rant saying like, you know, I feel proud to like be like a contributor to GameStop because I am, but at the same time, I would never want to work there if I wasn't a manager. Because if you're a manager, you're getting like those 40-hour work weeks. When I worked there in college, I was getting maybe 3 to 6. And that was about it. It's a very high school job. We have a friend who actually worked at GameStop for a while as well, but he kind of rise the ranks. But it's for him, it's a job that fit him perfectly. But you know, everyone had that dream of working at GameStop when they were a kid. But yeah, I've been on the other side of that fence, and it's not what it's cracked up to be, especially if you're either a high schooler or not even a high schooler, just like a college kid actually looking for more work. But I digress. When it comes to this movie, it's great. You know, the writing is fantastic. It made me laugh. It was everything I wanted it to be. And it's like, you know, the whole concept of this movie is the top 1% thinks that you're dumb. And it shows that, you know, the top 1% can be wrong a lot of the times. And it's just one of those eye-opening experiences where, you know, through the power of movies, where it shows how corrupt Wall Street actually is. And I love how we were kind of able to see into that world just a little bit and to go through this ride. But I do agree with Devin. I'm kicking myself for not investing in GameStop.
Imagine.
Man.
Although we say that, but then we would not have held. There's no way in hell I would have held.
Oh, dude, I would have cashed out. Like, as soon as
like, I would not have been that into the movement like these characters were.
They were, but like when it shows for this movie, you know, when it comes to like the solidarity of, you know, we just saw this with the writer's strike and the actor's strike. Like everyone, for the writer's strike is over. but everyone, all the writers, they held together. They held, huddle. They held together. And, you know, when it comes to solidarity, that's when it works. It's when everyone is working together. Like, obviously on the internet, this movie shows the power of the internet. And it's like a lot of those people probably did. But yeah, knowing me, I would have, not the second that I would have gotten some money, but like if I would have had like a nice pile of cash, it was like, yeah.
You see 20 grand sit in your account after like $100 investment.
I'm cashing out. I'm cashing out. Like, hey man, power to the people, but like, listen, your boy's got bills. I would have cashed out in a
hindsight.
Seriously, but we see that throughout the movie with the two college kids as well. For Harmony Williams, and I don't think the other girl is on here. She was. Oh no, here she is. Riri. She was in Bodies. Mahala Harold as well. So they played the two college kids who were. Like, because they did sell out at first, because they're like, you know, they were trying to figure out what Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill was doing, and they blocked like that entire Reddit page. I remember that. People were pissed. So pissed.
It was just so messed up.
It was. But
it just brings back to the point. I just love how much of a time capsule this movie is and will continue to be. Like it nailed every part of the year 2000/2021. Like even using the Savage song throughout the movie. That was like the biggest song of that year, and that was the biggest song on TikTok. And TikTok was becoming a huge thing. Like it all just tied together so well.
That, and even the smallest detail for like, you know, there's only like maybe a few posters for this, but it's using the GameStop font for dumb money. And, you know, it's in white and red. You know, when it comes to GameStop, I can't even imagine what EB Games would have been through. But I guess actually EB Games is like still a thing in like Canada, I think. But like in the States, I don't think EB Games is a thing anymore, because that was owned by the same company, if I remember correctly. But this movie was by the gamers for the gamers. Because hey, don't bet against GameStop, because they're gonna come back. But I do remember when it looked like GameStop doors were closing, because it was, you know, the gaming industry is going in a different direction when it comes to, you know, an all digital future. And GameStop, among a lot of like mom and pop shops, there's a place out here by me called McKay's. It's kind of like an emporium of like physical media, books, movies, music, all that stuff, vinyl records that you can buy, like pretty much everything you can find at GameStop, but like times 10. But like we don't get a lot of stores that kind of, you know, just have the trade-in value. Like people still trade in physical copies of games. You can't really do that anywhere else. And it's like, if GameStop went out of business, I think that would have been sad. It would have been very sad to see, because it's like that's like a relic, like one of the last standing relics out there. Because I don't even think Best Buy does trade-ins anymore. But going back to the movie, just showing the power of GameStop and just the power of the internet and how they were able to give a big old middle finger to the 1% was
yeah, I really awesome. Like the movie poster that was just the giant middle finger.
Yeah. And it makes you want to stand up and cheer. It really, really does.
Yeah, the ending honestly really was like hopeful and inspirational. Like the hearing that Roaring Kitty had, and his speech was pretty inspirational, even though like we said, it's kind of depressing, because don't think much is going to change, if anything.
But if anything, it rocks the boat. We moved the boulder a few inches to show that it is possible to kind of, you know, stick it to the man, or whatever you want to, however you want to say it. But it was great. You know, Shailene Woodley. I know we haven't really talked about her, but I do want to say, like, I love how we were able to see the home life of Caroline Gill and Keith Gill, you know, played by Shailene Woodley and Paul Dano, because it could have been one of those movies where, oh, you know, it's very by the numbers, you know, he's addicted to, like, you know, Wall Street bets and stuff, and, you know, his wife ends up leaving him, he loses everything, and it's like, well, no, that's not really what happened. She was actually very supportive of her husband and was like, yeah, let's sink our life savings into GameStop stock because he knows so much about the operations of this company and how it fluctuates. Like, that's crazy. You don't see that every day. I'm not sure how true that is to the actual story, but if it is, that's pretty cool. I like how he was able to, you know, him and his wife were able to kind of, you know, they were on the same page. It wasn't like a by the numbers kind of guessing thing where, like, oh, I'm going to leave you. Even though she did say that in the movie. And it's like, well, they only have one car. He went for a run so she could go to her mother's. But
and good old Pete was on a DoorDash run.
He is a first responder.
Yep.
My theater was dying when he delivered that line. His mom's like, DoorDash is not a real career. He said, F you, Mom, I'm a first responder.
So good.
He was eating everyone's meals, going through those Wendy's bags, man. I was like, oh man, I would have been so
that really makes it a shame because this movie is not performing well at all. It had a budget of $30 million and it's currently, according to IMDb, it's at around $8 million worldwide. Like, it's really just not hitting any audiences. And I think it should be. I think more people should go see this movie. Just because, you know, it's not original, but it's like, it's such an interesting story, and it tells a powerful, just a powerful narrative of the working class just shaking it up when it comes to, like, Wall Street, because, you know, people in Wall Street, you know, the 1%, they live in a totally different world than we do. Like, we're not even, it's like we're not even on the same planet at some points. And yeah, it's a little disheartening, but I'm hoping as many people go see this movie as they can. I know it's rated R, like it kind of has to be, but it's just great. Oh man, it's so eye-opening. I was like, I would definitely own this on physical media because it's an important piece of history, especially around the COVID pandemic age. So yeah, let's get into our final thoughts and our ratings of Dumb Money. Devin, what are your final thoughts and ratings of this film? Yeah, final thoughts. Like I said, it's a perfect time capsule for this time. Very entertaining. The cast, like we said, is insane. Everywhere you look, there's a great actor portraying a either terrible person as a character or a very entertaining normal person as a character, and they all do a good job of that. Like I said, it doesn't really reach the very highs of some of the other similar type movies that it kind of modeled itself after, but I still think it was very well made and a very good movie, and I would probably give it like an 83 overall.
You say 83? Okay, yeah. I was going to give this I was going to give it a solid 80, actually. Much for the same reasons that you gave it. Just it's something, you know, near and dear to our heart when it comes to GameStop. And I was like, oh man, like you said, we knew this movie was coming out, and it finally did, and we were looking forward to it, and you know, we both enjoyed the crap out of it, and I wish it was getting a little bit more love. Not saying it needs to, like, you know, make all the money in the world, but I wanted to shake up the box office just a little bit. Hopefully it might. I don't know. I guess it just depends. We're kind of like in that, you know, there's more shows and films coming out. So I don't know. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But either way, I'm glad it got made because it's an important piece of internet history for sure. So yeah, you said in 83?
Yep.
83 from Devin and an 80 from me. So the median score, our overall score for Dumb Money is 81.50 or 81.5 out of 100 will be our official podcast score of Dumb Money. And with all that said, that does conclude today's episode. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform of choice, and make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads at Film Optics. That is Optics with an X. And don't forget to share an episode of our podcast with a fellow movie lover in need, whether it's your mother, your brother, or your significant other. Spread the love for the Film Optics podcast with a movie lover in need. Now let's take a sneak peek at what's coming up next on the show. So what's coming up next, we have our Continental Episode 3 review that we'll be covering sometime this week, as well as our Ahsoka Episode 5 through 8 review, the last 4 episodes of that series. And we're also going to be covering the fall of the House of Usher. That will be will be releasing on October 12th, the same day that it is releasing on Netflix. And we're also going to be covering Loki Season 2, Episode 1 for all you guys out there. And what you can listen to now, of course, you can listen to our The Creator review that we did a few days ago, as well as our Gen V Episode 1 through 3 review, as well as our Continental Episode 1 and 2 review, as well as our No One Will Save You review for everyone to listen to and kind of just, we're in the middle of fall or autumn, however you prefer it, or say this time of year, the autumn equinox. And I wanted to thank you all for listening to our show. If you enjoy what you heard, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and stay connected with us by following us again on Twitter and Instagram Threads for all the latest updates. That was Devin. My name is Christian, signing off. And remember, life is like a movie, so go out there and mess up Wall Street. No, I was kidding. Go out there and make it a blockbuster.
Peace.
Dumb Money.